Members, please take your seats. All visitors, please retire to the seats outside the rails. I note that the hour has come and that a quorum of this city council is present. The chair now recognizes Majority Leader Catherine Gilmore Richardson for a motion concerning certain legislative matters that may arise during the course of today's session of council and that were not listed on the calendar circulated prior to today's council session.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that any of the following matters, if considered today, may be added to the agenda for this session of council and as required by law, subsequently published on an amended agenda after the consideration of those matters. Resolutions authorizing hearings, amendments to bills on first reading, the reconsideration of a bill vetoed by or recalled from the mayor, amendments to bills recalled from the mayor, resolutions taking substantive action to be voted on in this session, a motion to withdraw a bill or resolution that is not on the calendar, and a motion placing a bill or resolution on or returning a bill or resolution from the suspension calendar that is not listed on today's calendar. The purpose of this motion is to provide the public with notice concerning possible actions by council that arose too late to be included on the calendar that was published prior to today's session.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the legislative matters stated by Council Member Majority Leader Catherine Gilmore Richardson may be added to the agenda for today should those matters arise during the course of this session of council. All those in favor will indicate by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it and the motion carries. The chair will dispense with the regular order of business to recognize the guests and visitors joining us in City Council chambers this morning. On behalf of all members of City Council, I welcome you to our council session. Councilmember Dr. Anthony Phillips.
I'm also very, very pleased to welcome the leader of the Tacony Frankfurt Watershed, Justin DiBertinas, who is here today there he is. With all of these individuals from different parts organizations in the city of Philadelphia who are beginning this work with me and city council to push for more funding for our parks, reoccurring funding at an equitable level for all of our parks, and we understand how important it is. So we want to thank all of them for coming to begin this campaign so that we can really fund our parks so they can be among the best in the nation. Thank you so much, Council President.
Good job, Member Phillips. Every child deserves a great park. The next order of business is the introduction of bills and resolutions. The chair recognizes Councilman Dr. Anthony Phillips.
Thank you, Council President. I have one privilege resolution and also one non-privilege resolution for recognition today.
Thank you very much. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the resolutions.
A privileged resolution authorizing the Philadelphia City Council Committee on Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs to hold public hearings on the condition of the city's public park system, including funding, maintenance, infrastructure, staffing, safety, and opportunities to establish sustainable long-term revenue streams to support Philadelphia's parks, recreation centers, and public green spaces.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
And a non-privileged resolution nominating 25 individuals for consideration by the mayor as appointees to the Commission on Parks and Recreation.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at our next session of council. Chair recognizes Councilmember Phillips for a report from the Committee on Parks and Recreation and Cultural Affairs.
Thank you, Council President. The Committee on Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs reports 2 bills with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you very much. Chief Clerk, please read the report.
The Committee on Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, to which were referred the following bills. Bill number 260424, an ordinance establishing temporary parking regulations and enforcement thereof, and temporary residential and guest parking permits for the vicinity of the area bounded by the intersection of North 21st Street and North College Avenue, North 21st Street, intersection of North College Avenue and North 21st Street, all under certain terms and conditions. Respectfully reports it has considered and amended the same and returns the attached bill to council with a favorable recommendation. And Bill number 260430, an ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Parks and Recreation on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a multi-lease agreement with Fairmount Park Conservancy, under which the city would lease the Conservancy portions of the city-owned premises known as Franklin Delano Roosevelt Park for the Conservancy's use, operation, management, maintenance, and repair, all under certain terms and conditions. Respectfully reports it has considered the same and returns the attached bill to council with a favorable recommendation. There are no further bills to report out from the Committee on Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, Council President.
Thank you very much. The chair recognizes Councilman Phillips for a motion.
Thank you, Council President. I move that the rules of council be suspended to permit the first reading this day of the bills just read into the record by the Chief Clerk.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the rules of council be suspended so as to permit the consideration of these bills just read by the Chief Clerk at today's session of council. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. These bills will be placed on our first reading calendar for today. The next order of business is the consideration of the calendar. I note that the bills reported from committees with the suspension of the rules have been deemed to have had a first reading. These bills will be placed on the second reading and final passage calendar for the next session of council. Before considering the resolutions and bills, we will consider public comment as follows. Your public comment must concern matters on the second reading and final passage calendars for possible action at today's session of council. All speakers must sign up in order to testify. If you have not already signed up for today's session, please do so now by giving your name to Ms. Hassan at the table outside the rails to my left. Once you have signed up, you will be called in the order in which your name appears on the sign-up sheet. Under ideal circumstances, public commenters each will have 3 minutes to speak. However, this time limit may vary from session to session. Today, the time limit will be 2 minutes. In order to be fair to all those wishing to speak, I intend to hold faithfully to the 2-minute limit. When you begin speaking, you will see a green light on the podium. When there are 30 seconds remaining to your time, the light will turn yellow, which is your reminder to conclude your remarks. Once 2 minutes have passed, the light will turn red and the sergeant at arms will disconnect the microphone.
My name is Will Tung. Hey. All right, my name is Will Tung. I'm a volunteer over at Fifth Square Advocacy. I'm here in support of Councilmember Phillips' resolution calling on hearings toward more Parks and Rec funding. This is an issue that's deeply personal to me. Yeah, thank you guys. A round of applause. I live around the corner from King Sessing Rec Center, which just had a ribbon cutting, right? $27 million, beautiful facility. I never thought it would look like that. Unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, there was a leak, right? And it ruined the basketball gym floor. It was a month after the ribbon cutting. And now the gym floor is closed because of maintenance. And I am deeply concerned that if we don't keep up this investment that we made in the community, that it's just gonna go back the way it was, right? And so we need to follow up these historic investments in rebuild with Parks and Rec maintenance funding so that we can keep our Parks and Rec facilities open and available to the community.
Good morning, Council President Johnson and Philadelphia Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Wren Ganey, and I'm here to voice strong support for the resolution authorizing a hearing on our city's park system. As Advocacy Manager for Penn Future, my work in Philly is deeply focused on quality of life issues, and protecting and expanding our green spaces is a top priority. I'm grateful to Councilmember Phillips for his leadership and commitment to our parks and for introducing this legislation. Our parks are not just amenities, they are essential public infrastructure. They cool our neighborhoods during extreme heat, absorb rainwater and protect our homes from flooding, provide safe places for families to gather, and support the health and resilience of all of our communities. But we also know that access to high-quality parks is not experienced equally across our city. Some neighborhoods enjoy well-maintained, vibrant green spaces, while others face aging facilities, limited programming, and chronic disinvestment. Authorizing this hearing is a critical first step towards understanding those disparities and building a park system that truly serves all residents. A hearing will allow us to bring forward data, community experience, and best practices from other cities so that we can evaluate what's working, where gaps remain, and what long-term investments are needed. It creates a space for residents, community organizations, and experts to speak directly to council about the conditions in their neighborhoods and the opportunities that they see for improvement. This is a conversation about public health, climate resilience, youth opportunity, and quality of life. By moving this resolution, council signals that our parks matter, equity matters, and the planning for the future of our green spaces deserves thoughtful and transparent discussion. I ask you to support this resolution, and I look forward to the conversation that will lead to actionable strategies for strengthening our park system. On behalf of Penn Future, thank you for your time, and thank you again to Councilmember Phillips.
Good morning and thank you. My name is Michelle Lee. I'm speaking in favor of the Parks Funding Resolution. I'm a parent in South Philly in the 1st District, and I've been a Parks volunteer for over 25 years. I have 2 little kids, they're 3 and 5. We're in parks almost every single day, every season. Last weekend, we were in 4 parks in one day. I love our city's park system. It's really world-class, and in the past few years, we've shown that we can build amazing flagship projects like the new FDR Park playground, the Penn's Landing Cat Park, Borski Park, the whole rebuild program. But just like Will said, we see the cracks immediately. Just last weekend, we went to the Annecy Verna playground. It's one of the crown jewels. The water fountain was broken. There was broken fencing all around it. When I go to my neighborhood park at Dickinson Square, the sidewalk is so cracked, a stroller tips over, the grass has been scratched to dust, and this can go on and on. I live very close to Washington Ave. We all know the parks and playgrounds north of Washington Ave have open bathrooms and water fountains. The ones south of it tend not to. The ribbon cuttings are what make headlines. We get a nice photo op, but maintenance is what makes promises real. We're really starved for maintenance in our parks, big and small. For every dollar Baltimore invests in its parks per person, Philly spends 54 cents. So I'm not talking New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles. Let's compare ourselves to our peer cities and match at least that energy. I'm a volunteer with 2 friends groups. Philly volunteers at more than twice the national average. So we're running our world-class system on love and fumes and duct tape, but duct tape can't be the only answer. There are many things volunteers just can't do. Chainsaw work, mowing, skilled trades work like fixing gates, benches, sinkholes, and street lights. And a lot of problems run deeper than any friends group can solve. I've been hauling the same 100 tires out of a ditch in Fairmount Park for 10 years. We've been sweeping broken glass. So let's invest in our parks. Let's invest in health, the immune benefits, the community benefits, mental health benefits, benefits on reducing crime. Nature is not a luxury. When we underinvest in parks, we pay for it somewhere else. So please vote yes on this resolution. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Philadelphia. How's everyone feeling? All right, cool. How's it going? I'm Drew Rinaldi Subits. I'm the Director of Land Care and Workforce Development at TTF Watershed Partnerships, servicing Tacony Creek Park, the community surrounding that area. We're also building a nature preserve open to the public right behind Friends Hospital off the Roosevelt Boulevard to put 50 more acres of publicly accessible nature back into the hands and places for Philadelphians to go. I'm here in support of Councilmember Phillips' bill on park funding. Really appreciate the support on that, Councilman Driscoll. Also want to give a shout out to Councilmember Lozada, who's been a great advocate of ours and who jumped in the creek a month or 2 ago to help clean it. Appreciate that, respect that. I've been out in the park system for over a decade now, and what's become abundantly clear is that these are not just parks to go throw a Frisbee in or hang out for a little bit. These are spaces of absolutely essential mental health wellness. People go to these parks to find some peace and quiet. People go to these parks just to breathe. Philadelphia is loud. There's lots of violence. There's struggle everywhere, well documented. People need a place that they can just go and breathe and feel safe. That's what these parks serve as. They are absolutely indispensable infrastructure for our city. And I also want to kind of point out that I think there's a misconception that these parks, you see a green space on a map and you're like, oh, park, we got parks, check. Parks are living infrastructure, biotic infrastructure, if you will. They are living and breathing. All infrastructure requires maintenance, but parks require even more frequent maintenance because they're living and growing. The majority of things in there are living. Here at TTF, we're doing workforce development. We have a young crew of folks who we're training to do this work. Got Liam over here, I think Kari, we got Elijah and Damien somewhere. We're training people how to do this work so they can take this as a career, make their neighborhoods safer, create those spaces so people can go to get that reprieve, to breathe, to get that mental health support, and have a place to recreate and enjoy themselves. So I want to urge you to support this. Not only mental health support, recreation, jobs for our communities. Historically, this work has been done only by contractors, and a lot of times that money then leaves town. Invest in our parks, invest in our young people. Thank you.
My name's Erica Brown, and I love all of you. I'm here especially to thank Councilmember Phillips for the resolution to add funding to rec centers, and Council President Johnson. I have this rose I want to give you when we're done.
Thank you.
And thank you for your strong negotiations with the mayor. As you may know, this is day 8 of our hunger strike to make Philly affordable, and the city and the mayor has $1.1 billion in surplus that can be spent on us right now. And we want to add fire to your negotiations and help you get what this city needs right now. Plus $120 million for food to help 50,000 people get food who are kicked off of food stamps. Plus $20 million to preserve deeply affordable housing. Plus 25 to keep full-time substitute teachers their jobs who are going to be fired. To double the rec center budget like the mayor said she would do on her campaign trail. To double the library budget. To add $30 million to zero fares so people can get where they need to go, and to add $50 million to the Philadelphia Energy Authority, which would give the city $86 million, because whenever you give them money, they multiply your money by 1.7 times. So I love you all. I love the mayor, and we got to show how we can love this city together. Free Cuba, free Sudan, free Iran, free Palestine, free Philly. Make Philly affordable.
Thank you, Erica. Sergeant Arms Lopez, could you make sure I get my rose, please? This concludes today's public comment period. We will now consider the resolutions on the final passage calendar and bills on the second reading and final passage calendar.
A privileged resolution authorizing the Philadelphia City Council Committee on Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs to hold public hearings on the condition of the city's public park system, including funding, maintenance, infrastructure, staffing, safety, and opportunities to establish sustainable long-term revenue streams to support Philadelphia's parks, recreation centers, and public green spaces, introduced by Councilmember Phillips.
The outstanding chair of Parks and Recreation Committee, Councilmember Dr. Anthony Phillips.
Thank you, Council President. I proudly move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. That completes our calendar for today. The chair recognizes Councilmember Isaiah Thomas for a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Council President. I move that council stands adjourned until Thursday, June 4th, 2026 at 10 a.m.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the council stand adjourned until Thursday, June the 4th, 2026 at 10 a.m. All in favor will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you all very much, and especially Councilmember Jim Harity. See y'all next Thursday.